friends don't play it anymore.
I'll play PUBG.
Did you just do that?
I turn it back on.
PUBG,
but Xbox?
I think it's cross-platform.
It is,
it
but
is
you
now.
can't. I don't think you can play in the same.
Are you recording right now?
You can't play in the same teams.
Oh.
If you're cross-platform.
Oh, I'm on PC.
Like we could be in the same game, but I don't think we can be on the same.
Let's try to plan that.
I played
Loading.
PUBG when you would respond, and then there was like you responded through a table, and then for the first 20 minutes of the game, you were stuck in a table and you couldn't move
unplayable.
until somebody comes and kills you. And you're like, okay, let's just wait another 20 minutes to drop, and then start all over. The beta stuff.
Oh yeah, when it first came
really
out,
messy.
Unplayable. When it first came out, it was unplayable.
So it lost me after that.
The vehicles, I just like if you do a YouTube search of like PUBG vehicle stuff, like from the beginning, and just the funniest shit happens.
Really?
People drive like on a bridge, and you'll just fall through the bridge and crash and die, and everyone explodes. And you're like,
so
what the hell?
For no particular
For no
reason.
Yeah, just the game just glitched, and it's funny. The driving's the worst in that game.
Okay.
It really is.
Kylo Ren skin though, so he gets to run around as Kylo Ren, which was tight.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Fortnite.
Yeah.
Do you have to pay for those?
Oh yeah. But
Oh
we
yeah.
did it with the Black Friday PlayStation 4 deal for $200, and you get the 2,000 V-Bucks and some other stuff.
Oh, cool.
So we pretty much got it free. But
Yeah, nice.
Transactions, man.
nice $15 charge for Kylo Ren. Hey, we didn't really pay for it. So
It's Kylo Ren. I'd pay for that.
yeah.
Come on, who wouldn't? Right?
His helmet
I'd
on
pay
too.
$15 for
The
Kylo
greatest
Ren,
corporate
sure.
invention in the last 100 years.
You would pay $15 for
Microtransactions.
Adam Driver? He's a goofy looking dude.
I like Adam Driver.
He has a nice smile.
I like Mini Driver.
I'm with Lee on this one.
I don't think
don't
they're
know.
related.
She also
Love
has a
Adam
nice smile.
She does. She's a strikingly
Strikingly
attractive
Is that the girl from
looking
Good Will
female.
Hunting?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
And The Riches. Did you ever watch The Riches? Starring Eddie Izzard and Mini Driver. It's like about this group of people, and they're like vagabonds, and they get in like they're con artists, right? Like
I've
gypsies.
seen this.
Have
Yep,
you seen
I've
it? It's
seen
really
this.
good.
It is.
They're like gypsies, and they end up somehow they get in a car accident or something, and the people that they ran off the road were like rich. They were on their way moving to a new like home or something.
Yeah.
And so they find all this out, and they go there, and they like pose as them because it's a completely new place, and no one knows who these people are.
Yeah.
And so they pose as this rich, like family, right? When in reality, they're total con artists.
Nothing's gonna go
It's a
wrong with
great-
this.
It's like two seasons. I
forget.
think there's 2 seasons or something.
Sorry, Mini Driver and Gross Point Blank.
Yeah,
Gross
yeah.
Point Blank.
Yeah, baby.
One of my favorite quotes of all time is from that.
Bing,
From
bing,
her.
bing, bang, bang, pop, 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 pop.
From her. Where are all the good men dead? In the heart or in the head?
Yep. So, all right. That was a good warm-up. Everybody's working good. Just so everybody on the podcast knows that, yes, this has been recording. This time, we went through the first 30 minutes of the podcast, of this first podcast, and some dunderhead forgot to put in the recording chip, so it wasn't recording.
We've had 2 people quit.
Yep.
There's 2 replacements.
They can't work under these circumstances. So we got Lee and Max to take their place. So we're lucky that
Welcome.
we're lucky that way. So here we go. Book 2, Chapter 1, My Mandalorian Madness. Welcome to the Dragonhead Dialogues, a nerd-friendly podcast filled with friendly nerds who are about to discuss things that would have stereotypically been commonplace in one of our mom's basements. This is a group of best friends and family that revel in our eclectic nerd cred and love talking about it. There's no right or wrong when it comes to these discussions, but we're going to try to convince everyone participating to agree with our particularly nerdy point of view, with the exception of Baby Yoda, the child. He's universally known as pure adorable and could be responsible for the saving of the entire Star Wars universe. What? Laugh it up, fuzzball. Least
He hates what essentially is a kid. I mean, just so we're clear on this, he hates a child.
No, he likes it.
I love the child.
I thought you're saying it was bad.
No.
Oh.
He's
I'm so
using-
used to you talking about Jar Jar Binks.
I know that was such
Yeah,
a
pox, right?
Being
Yeah.
a pox,
right.
yeah,
He
see?
was he
Such a-
well he
You're
is
confusing
of course,
me.
but I'm trying to book 2. I'm trying to be a little more upbeat, a little more
Everybody
happy.
likes Baby Yoda.
Team Jar Jar over here.
Except for the people who were trying to make him illegally, and Disney said,
Right.
cut that shit out.
Okay, well, as you know, we our little podcast is filled with nerdy people, and we're going to go around and introduce everybody. I am Jeff. I get to be your host. I'm colloquially called the king of the nerds in our place of business. People come to pay homage to my kingness of nerdiness at work. I may not be the king of all nerds, but in my little world, I am. So that's me. To my right is our middle daughter, who we've completely neglected, Jessica. Hi, Jess. How are you?
Thank you. I feel neglected. I'm really not. My name's Jess. Hi.
Hi, Jess.
Thanks.
It's a AAA meeting. Hi, Jess.
Hi.
In my group, my circle, I'm the one that avoids everybody else and just stays inside and plays video games and doesn't really engage.
Okay. Hi, Jess. Hi, Jess. Sitting next to Jess is one of our good friends, Lee. Hi, Lee. They can't see you smiling. You know that.
Oh,
right?
they can't see me smiling?
No.
I've always heard that when you talk on a microphone, you should always smile because people can hear it on the other end.
That's
Everyone
what they
just
tell
ate
us.
their microphones. That's true. That's a true thing.
It is true. I work in the call center. It is true.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Hi, I'm Lee. Hi.
Hi, Lee.
I like
Hi,
comics. I do vintage video game stuff. Just remember, sarcasm is the mind's natural defense against stupidity.
Oh, is it?
That's a great
Oh,
quote.
is it?
Wow.
Thanks, Jess.
Is it? I want to get one of those shirts. That's just like, it says that. It's just sarcasm, and then on the bottom it says that.
Sitting next to Lee is my favorite person in the world, my wife, Sandy. Hi, Sandy.
Hi, everybody. I just want to point out that Lee said AAA. It sounds like a AAA meeting, not an AA.
Oh, AA meeting. Yeah, sorry. AAA. Oh, hey. If you need a total, too.
I'd rather go to the AAA meeting.
Auto
than the
club?
AA meeting.
You have an auto
It's
club?
true. I do have an auto club. That's the whiskey talking.
Okay.
Just saying,
How
that was
ironic.
funny.
That's what they call the first meeting.
The
Triple A
first
meeting.
AAA meeting.
Admittance. First meeting's called admittance.
Roadside coverage, everybody.
Okay.
That's all for me.
Okay. Next to my wife is our good friend Max. Max, how are you, sir?
Good, good. Thank you for the invite. Glad
My
to
pleasure.
Be here. I like a little bit of everything too. Anything from, I don't know, vintage video games, comics, movies.
Yeah.
I mean, you name it. A little bit of everything.
Okay. And next to Max is the tallest person I know, Travis. He's our Gandalf to us being hobbits. I'm a short guy. He's really tall. So, hey, Travis, how you doing?
I am doing well, thank you. Thank you for the invite. I am a giant amongst nerds here. I love anything in regards to Star Wars, Star Trek, Jar Jar Binks, video games.
Okay.
So thank you.
Okay.
Guns
Right.
blazing. Shots fired.
Yep. Here we go. Okay. So, at the beginning of every podcast, we like to get to know each other better. And since we've already covered this, it's going to be fun to recover it. So, what the Dragonhead dialogue question, interview question this week is, who is the worst casting choice in a nerd movie? And I'm going to win. Even the second time through, I'm going to win. Because Christopher Lambert in Mortal Kombat as the Japanese god of thunder and storms, Raiden, is impossible. He's the Highlander first, so he's Scottish. He's as white as a white can be, and he doesn't even have any type of Japanese. Thank you, Jess, for a Japanese accent. How can he be the Japanese god of rain, thunder, and storms? He's not. It's the worst casting of all time. It's hideous.
Is bad. It's definitely bad.
It is
It's
bad.
wrong on many
That being
levels.
said, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean,
Tells you a little bit of something about me, but
there,
Yeah.
go ahead.
The first one is okay. Because I saw it in the theater. You lose me in the second one when they start doing the animalities.
Yeah.
And it's like the clay and the like really
Yeah.
bad technology.
God.
And I'm like, oh man, it's like a 3-headed dragon against a regular dragon.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is
Well, they
bad.
switched him out. Christopher Lambert wasn't Raiden in that one. They
Oh,
got
yeah.
some other white guy to do it.
Right, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, plus, talk about a freaking banging soundtrack, man.
Oh, yeah.
They
And
got
there were-
KMFDM on there. They got all kinds of
Yeah.
sweet
Yeah.
music on there.
I agree.
That was the best thing about that.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
Do, do,
that was a
do,
good
do.
song.
One of our friends in the Chicagoland area came up with the parody of Dunkin' Donuts.
I like
Dun, 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 dun.
I like his
Cruller.
toilet paper one.
Toilet paper. I like the Dunkin' Donuts one because you could, when he got to the naming, he'd go down the cruller, French twist. it was awesome. So, Big Steve, if you're listening to that one was for you. So, who would like to go next? Who?
I can go next.
Go.
I did last time, so I can do it again.
Okay. I thought Lee went next.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I did because I was going to do a fight you because I thought mine was way worse, but
I talked you out of it. It's still bad. First go, and then we'll still fight about it.
okay, right. So mine, I was surprised that Mr. Holmes did not pick this one because it hits home for him.
It does.
Extra hard, but Hayden Christensen is awful. He is
Right.
awful in those movies.
I will agree 100% agree with you that he is awful. He's awful. And I don't know if it's his acting abilities or what Lucas was making him do or the dialogue, but Darth Vader as a young child, or teenager, and young adult was supposed to be a whiny little bitch.
I know.
And
I skip episode 2 when I rewatch him because I can't stand
I know he's horrible.
Can't stand him.
So
That actor has been in other movies, and he's good.
right.
Yeah.
So it's I think that's more on Lucas and his storytelling than Hayden Christensen being cast incorrectly.
I challenge anyone to be that pissed off about sand. Really?
Plus, I hate Hayden Christensen because that was the name of the movie. I had to look it up. He's in a movie called Shattered Glass. You ever seen that one?
No.
No.
So I was into like writing and journalism and that type of thing, and
Sure.
that movie is about. We watched it in our class as like a case study because it's about like a famous reporter who wrote all this stuff, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's so good," and he fabricated all of it, and it was all about plagiarism and like doctoring stories and all this stuff, and it's a good movie, but Hayden Christensen is in it, and I'm just like, you're ruining this movie that I like. I can't remember what.
Is he still acting, by the way? I thought
Yeah.
he quit, right?
Yeah.
Is he?
Oh, he quit?
Yeah, no, he's in
He's still-
something. I
don't-
just saw some
PBS
advertisement. He's doing nonprofit.
Sweaty balls.
I don't know. He's doing something.
Cool.
I
Okay.
know he's working.
Okay. Well said. Who wants to go next? Jess.
Okay. So mine is not the best choice, but it's more personal, I think. So let me premise it with Storm is one of my favorite superheroes of all time. And that's my choice, is anybody who has played Storm in any of the Marvel movies.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Halle Berry,
Yeah.
the other person
Right.
who I don't know her name, but I feel like she has potential. I just don't know who she is.
Right. Storm is one of the most powerful female
She
characters,
is.
period.
She's
and they cast it
amazing.
horribly. Yeah.
Yes.
So I would agree with that. Yeah.
Then again, I can't think of anybody that can actually pull up, do a justice to that character right now. Besides, well, I mean,
Besides, it's Gina
Right.
Torres from Firefly,
Right.
who plays Zoe,
Right.
because
Right.
she is powerful and strong, and just in general amazing.
And I think some of that has to do with pre-casting too, or stereotype casting, because Gina Torres played Zoe, and she's been kind of cast as the hard-ass woman, and that's cool.
Yeah.
So I think that would be cool as Storm. That's
Yeah,
what Storm
previous
needs.
to this Wonder Woman, she was also my vote for Wonder Woman, but this Wonder Woman's also good. So she's good.
'Kay.
I think it's time to find new.
She's one of the leaders of the X-Men, and that gets overlooked.
Right,
People are
yeah.
like, who led the
True.
X-Men? Oh, Cyclops and
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
whoever. And you're like, no,
Jean
man,
Grey.
Storm was like part
Yeah.
of
She was
whatever.
like
She
the
was the red
main
team leader or
person.
Yep.
whatever. They were in
Yeah.
those two teams.
Well, here we go. Squirrel. Storm had to fight Cyclops for lead of the X-Men, and she kicked his ass.
Well, yeah, he
So-
just has a laser eye. What'd he do?
And
Yeah, I
heart.
don't like Cyclops.
Right, right.
It's all hard. Oh, he's the
got
kid
a
from
heart of
Captain
gold.
Planet. Heart ring. The worst power. You get to wield fire. You get water. Wind pierce heart. What the hell is that? That's terrible.
Got screwed on my choice.
Sorry.
Yeah, we are opposites. Heart's your favorite one, isn't it?
No.
Yes, it is. So
No, if I had a superpower, I might be hard, but that doesn't mean that I think it's a powerful superhero.
Then you do have one.
But thank you, Jazz. So
Can I
sweet. Love you.
squirrel of a squirrel?
Squirrel.
Squirrel of a squirrel. So you said superhero ability, right?
Yeah.
My kid. So he got some present, or my youngest is, or my oldest is almost 4. So he got like some present. It's like a little bracelet, and it's a superhero bracelet. It's got all of like the Avengers and like the old school logos on them,
Awesome.
and it's just this little bracelet. And so he was all like, "Oh, it's the Avengers," and he knows because we watched that. Like I'm into that stuff.
That's
right?
just good parenting.
Just good parenting. So he's like, "Can we watch Avengers?" And I was like, it might be a little too young for Avengers. I was like, "Well, would you want to watch one of the other movies?" And I'll just fast forward through the bad parts.
Sure.
So we watched Iron Man, of course, right? The original one. Probably still my favorite. But anyway, so we watched it. We were talking about superpowers and things like that. And I said, well, Logan, what, if we had superpowers, what would your superpower be? And he kind of thinks. And then all of a sudden he goes, camouflage. And I was like,
Wow!
this kid's 4. And I was like, camouflage? I'm like, first of all, that's a brilliant superpower. Second of all, where'd you learn the word camouflage? It just was funny. So anyway, we were talking about superpowers.
cool.
It was like
Yes,
a proud
better than
nerd
heart.
moment.
Yeah.
I'm saying even a 4-year-old can pick a better power than I.
Absolutely, yes. Camouflage.
Okay, who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
So I picked Halle Berry and Catwoman. I really don't think I have to say more than that.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You can't switch teams like that. That's just wrong.
Well, no,
so
that's not even it. I think that the movie community in general has given her this award. So it's not just me. I'm the voice of everyone
Right.
right now.
Sure.
Yes.
So
Well, it's funny that Jess picked her as the worst casting in the Marvel universe, and you picked her as the worst casting in the DC universe.
are hating
I think we
on
got a
Halle
theme
Berry.
going here.
Hating on Halle Berry.
I might have seen her once in an episode of Love Boat a long, long time ago. And
What?
She might have been really good in that.
She was
I'm
great.
kidding.
She was great in James Bond. I don't remember which one she was in.
Swordfish.
Swordfish.
Oh yeah, sort of.
Ball.
Okay.
There we go. She is a Bond lady, so
Hugh Jackman, Wolverine.
Oh, yeah, there's a tie-in. Okay,
Come on.
Max, do you want to go next? Please.
Yes. And again, once I'm gonna say sorry again, Jeff, but it's definitely I can't think of a better choice right now. Mark Hamill playing the Guyver. That
Mark.
I know.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it doesn't sound as bad the second time. But
No, we are.
There was an audible silence the first time. You said Mark Hamill and you paused, and I was like, oh shit, this guy's out of here.
You also had the good line of
Yeah.
he came in through the door. He's going out through the window.
that was perfect. Yeah.
Awesome.
No, Mark Hamill as the guy. Yes, I would agree. He's horrible in that. And
Yeah, and he's a good actor, though. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just it's one of those things where like, I know it was a long time ago, but just I think Hollywood definitely needs to start looking for new talent.
Yeah.
Look who's playing Spider-Man now.
Yeah.
Finally. you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
But stop. I mean, everybody else is too old and too much of an icon now to put him in
Right.
those shoes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the exception of Robert Downey Jr. and a couple other people, but
Right.
it's just definitely time for new people to
Right.
start playing
Okay.
good characters.
Last guy, Travis.
And I don't know if you guys have ever seen this movie before, but it's going to be Double Dragon.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yes.
So Double Dragon I used to play when I was a kid, and it's a really bad movie when you play it all day, every day when you're a tiny little kid, and you go and see the movie, and it's maybe one of the worst movies you've ever seen.
Wait, can I press pause here for a second? When were you a tiny kid?
Before I discovered pizza. I think I ate a pizza every single day since I was 8 until I was probably like 23.
Get out!
There's the secret. Jack's Pizza 10 for 10 at Hy-Vee.
Favorite topping?
I kind of like to mix it up. I usually go with pepperoni or sausage and pepperoni if I'm,
Nice.
Does
feeling
pineapple
adventurous.
belong on pizza?
No.
Yes.
No,
We can't be friends.
Yeah.
We can't be friends.
you two want
Pineapple
can't-
and
my-
Canadian bacon.
I'm sorry, but pineapple is good on pizza.
Which Canadian bacon
We're
is
getting-
so funny because
we're
it's
getting
just
outvoted
ham.
here.
Yes, it's true.
And if you talk to someone from Canada, they're like, "Why do you call Canadian bacon? It's ham."
Yeah.
Can I give you?
All about that.
Can I give you
Gordon
my?
Ramsay like anti-pineapple?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Can
Okay,
I,
so I want to ask, how tall are you?
6'10", almost 7 feet. I should just. I'm gonna retract my answer. 7 feet tall.
and you can blame that on pizza without
okay,
pineapple.
you should say his son. How old is he now? You're
My
told?
son?
Yeah, the oldest.
Oh, he's in the 99.9 percentile of my son's age. He's 7 right now, but he's a big dude.
Yeah.
He's a big dude.
How tall is your wife?
5'5".
Oh, nice and average, just like me. Nice.
I saw a funny picture the other day of a 7-footer hugging like a 5-foot lady, and it's funny because he's hugging in the air and his wife is right under him. I was like, I couldn't stop laughing for hours. I was like, that's me. That's me at a dance.
Hey, can I give you my second choice for worst?
Yeah.
Okay. Every turtle in the Ninja Turtles movies.
Oh yeah, those
In
were
the
bad.
90s.
Oh.
Wow, the ones in the 90s, though? No?
Why? Well, if
I like
let's
the
just
91s.
those are the worst. But
That's true.
Okay, yeah.
The most recent one was bad.
Horrible.
Oh yeah, I mean those
You're
were.
right.
Yeah, those were bad.
I should have just said every Ninja Turtle movie, not just.
No,
the
I
one-
like the very first.
one.
Yeah,
The first
But the
one
first one.
yeah,
was-
that was good.
had like a darkness to it, which was nice.
I would give you that. The girl who played April O'Neil in the first one was a bad casting, but
Yeah.
I liked the turtles in that one. So okay, there's your interview question. Now let's go to what, Jeff? What you been doing? What nerdy things have you guys been doing recently? Since this is the first book or first chapter in book 1 or book 2. Well said, Jeff.
Yeah. Good job.
Good job.
It's a good thing I'm a host, right? So, what nerdy things are you guys up to?
Me, I'm doing two main things. One thing, I used to be in a web comic like 10 years ago almost, and my friend Andrew that I met through that web comic is starting an Eberron RPG game, and we're playing through Discord, so it's just all over the internet, and I'm playing a Kalishtar Paladin, which is so cool because they're kind of telepathic. It's really fun. I'm really excited. Our first session is on Monday.
Ooh,
Yes.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Exciting.
Yes.
Okay. Lee, what have you been doing?
Not much myself. Power watching Star Wars content for this podcast.
That's nerdy enough for me, baby.
Yeah.
Sandy, what have you been doing nerdy?
Well-
Like I don't know.
Well, you know what I do nerdy because
We live together.
Exactly. But I've started some resolutions. It's the new year, and nerds have resolutions too. So there's a lot of movies I have to watch and a lot of streaming content because there's just so much nowadays. You just have a whole big list. So my resolutions for nerddom is long and broad: books, movies, and I'm also getting prepared for Con of the North.
Ah.
It's a local convention up in the cities that comes here mid-February, and during that time I'll be playing Pathfinder role-playing game 2.0. It's the newest version, and I need to make a character for that. So I've been reading the new book and trying to figure out all the rules and how they've changed. So that's what I've been doing.
Cool. Max.
I guess just doing a little bit of research. I'm trying to start a new sculpture. And yeah. So can't decide if I want to do a sculpture of Tron. I thought about doing a Baby Yoda, but it's like that's out of the window now. The
Disney will come
Disney,
back.
yeah, Disney's coming out. Yeah. So,
Gestapo's gonna come.
and I was like, no, it's probably everybody's working on that anyways.
Right.
And then Favreau posted a video on how to make one. I don't know if you saw that on Instagram for like, I think it's
Yeah.
the one they use for the show.
Yep.
And I was like,
Yep.
well, thank you, but I think I'd rather, yeah. So I'm thinking about what do I want to do now. So Tron has been in the back of my head for the last 20 years or whatever that I want to sculpt it.
I love Tron.
And
we're gonna
it's
we're
gonna
gonna
be
have
quite
to
a
talk
challenge.
about Tron at some point. You and I.
all right, sounds good. Definitely I know for your childhood is Star Wars. For me, was Tron when I was growing up.
Oh, we're gonna have
Besides The Exorcist. So.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Travis.
I kind of stumbled upon the new Star Wars game,
Yeah, baby.
so I got a pretty good deal on Facebook Marketplace for it. So I was pretty adamant to tell Jeff. I was like a kid getting candy for the first
He was. It was funny.
It was $20 for the deluxe edition, so I had to buy it.
So, Sandy, this is the reason why I had
I know.
to get
Thank you, Travis. Thank you so much.
it. Yeah. So, Jedi Fallen Order, and it's
Yeah.
fun. And if you are going to play Jedi Fallen Order, get the deluxe version, so you get the extra skins and the extra cool stuff. So,
Cool.
yeah. What made it worth the extra was you can customize the color of your lightsaber, and orange is my favorite color. So, I was able to right off the bat change it to orange. I'm like, worth
Nice.
it.
Are you able to customize your main character? I don't know much about the game.
Nope.
No,
Sorry,
you can't.
Not a.
Do you have to play as a man?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, but the lead villain on the other side is a female.
Okay.
She is awesome.
She's an inquisitor.
Noise.
She's awesome.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the whole game is just superbly done, and it's a Star Wars game that you definitely want to try. So
I haven't enjoyed a Star Wars game since Battlefront.
oh,
Like the old Battlefront.
Yeah.
Not
Not
the-
the- yeah. Old the first.
No, not the new one. No.
your standards. Sir.
I got to see a little bit of that because Jeff
Yeah.
obviously said, "Hey, watch me play for a while." So
3 hours later.
which is a thing, right? But it's kind of like Uncharted in the way that you move around, so it's really cinematic,
Yeah.
and I like
Well,
that about it.
I thought they did a really good job with the one for the PS3 that came out. What was it, the Jedi Unleashed or whatever it was called?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a good game.
That was good. Yeah. Has anybody played Uncharted on the PlayStation?
Yeah.
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 Next in 2021, they're coming out with a movie.
Oh.
Ooh, who's playing the main guy?
Tom Holland, Spider-Man, is going to be Nathan Drake.
Nice.
Isn't he a bit youthful?
I thought that too, but then I thought, he's probably 25, 26.
I still
And then
think...
if you start at the I would rather have them start a little young, and if they go through, because there's 5 Uncharteds, he's going to age with each movie. So I think maybe they're playing it smart. The casting that I didn't like was for Sully.
Yeah.
They're going with Mark Wahlberg.
Marky
Marky
Mark.
Mark, yeah.
And the Funky Bunch.
I don't see him as the scruffy old guy with the
No, he's
70s
not Sully.
porn mustache. I
He's not Sully.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking he'll never look at Spider-Man the same way again.
probably not.
Yeah.
I thought
Spider-Man do this, and I'll just shoot something.
I thought there were rumors that De Niro was going to be Sully.
That would have been good.
I agree, but that was not true. But anyway, I squirreled again. Sorry.
Is
So-
there anything this kid can do? I mean,
I know.
That's what I was
He's
saying.
on a roll.
New talent. You know what I mean? It's like he's
I
even the.
think maybe they did it because he's really bad with spoilers, and we are already
Oh,
know
yeah.
the whole content of Uncharted.
Yeah.
You can't spoil anything. Nice.
No, but sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say he's even the best Rihanna I ever seen. If you've seen him dance, that
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's hilarious.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for your nerdy updates. Now, on to my Mandalorian madness. It's no secret that Star Wars is my wheelhouse, my groove. Even though I suck at dancing, my jam, my Babe Ruth's call the shot, my Michael Jordan's nothing but net, my double weapon specialization. Unfortunately, there's the universal truth that Star Wars fans cannot agree on one single thing. Not which of the movies is best, not that Luke and Leah kissing was right or wrong, not even how wrong, just plain wrong Jar Jar Binks is, and that he's a pock on the entire Star Wars universe and should never have existed. There's my negativity for you, Lee. So I knew The Mandalorian was going to have its work cut out for it. Having said all of that, I was still guardedly optimistic about the release of The Mandalorian. I mean, Jon Favreau did start the MCU off with Iron Man. Dave Filoni was involved with all of the Clone Wars cartoons. Disney has been amazingly good at throwing oodles of cash at worthy projects, but still guarded. Very, very guardedly, but optimistic. And then, episode 1, The Client came out. I could barely contain my eagerness. Okay, to be fair, I couldn't contain my eagerness. And I didn't. I watched it at 4 a.m., and then I watched it again at 5 a.m. I made Sandy watch it on the way to work on my phone. I insisted that all of my friends at work and elsewhere watch it immediately, if not sooner. Why? Because the Star Wars universe had finally come out with something I knew was great, nay, epic. Even more shockingly, all the Star Wars nerds universally love it. I'm so happy right now. Even better, our little podcast is going to talk about all things Mandalorian. I'm in nirvana. So, let's get to it. How far did the opening series make your lightsaber go up? A little? Halfway? Fully extended? Someone start before I can't contain myself.
Oh God.
What? So, I mean, I'm going to go last because clearly it's...
You need a break. Yeah.
I do. I need to take a breath. So, Jess, how far does Star Wars The Mandalorian make your lightsaber go up?
Okay, for me, it fluctuated a little bit in the beginning. You know, it was very up and down for a long time. until he went back to get the child, and then I'm like, I'm all in. Except there was one point where I think it was The Prisoner, where the actress that plays Tonks is the crazy little Twi'lek person, and that was a little bit too much for me. Like the plot of that specific one, I was like, okay, but by the end, it all kind of tied together, and I liked it. I'll wait.
Sorry.
To conclude, my lightsaber is fully erect.
Wow.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Most
kind of podcast.
impressive.
Yeah, impressive. Most impressive.
Yeah.
Travis.
I can go next.
Okay.
I would say semi-chub. I mean, my bad, Jeff.
Wow.
Lightsabers. I would say halfway.
Sure. Yeah, I'll edit that out for you.
I really enjoyed the first episode, and then it kind of lost me partway in the middle with some of the here's Baby Yoda, let's rescue him, and then lose him again and rescue him. So it was kind of like the same storyline over the next middle episodes, and then it kind of summed it together nicely in the season finale. So I think, like you said before previously, Jeff, I really appreciated that it was Star Wars content and new Star Wars content. So I would say overall positive, though.
Okay, good. Max?
I like it. I think it's definitely my favorite about all the Star Wars that I've seen lately. I like the fact, and I think you and I talked about this when it first came out. It was like I like the fact that, like you said, Hugh, none of the main characters is completely different. It was a brand new thing.
Yeah,
I mean, I thought it was. I got hooked on the first episode for sure.
Well,
I'm usually not that impressed with some of this stuff that they've been doing lately. So it was definitely good.
It's hard not to get hooked at the child.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
The child was definitely. I mean, not only the biggest surprise, but probably the one thing they finally got right.
And I want to cover that later.
Right. So my conclusion, I guess, my lightsaber is glowing.
Energized.
Careful. Don't cross.
Whoa.
Okay, we're gonna just move on quickly, and go to Lee. Keep Sandy out of it. Go to Lee. Where's your lightsaber right now on the Mandalorian?
It's up.
Is it all the way up?
No, it needs a little bit of help to get there.
But overall up.
Yeah, overall up.
Okay. Good.
No, I enjoyed it. For me, it ties back to we kind of were talking about it before, but the books. So Karen Traviss, if you haven't read any of the Republic Commando stuff, she basically created Mandalorian culture. And not created it, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
Made it popular, elaborated on it.
Yep.
Right? And I did hear something or read something, I don't know if it's true or not, but that the writers consulted with her on some of this.
That's great.
And that's awesome because it was I think that there was some, I don't know much about the backstory, but I think that there was some bad blood or issues that happened where she didn't have creative content, and then they were like, okay, you're done.
Right.
But if you read those books, like the Republic Commando stuff, they're really good.
Yep.
And it's character driven, and that's what this series really is.
That's
what I love about it.
That's cool.
Cool. Okay, Sandy, how's your lightsaber about the Mandalorian?
It's up, way up. Now, I will have to qualify that, Jeff might have been excited about watching The Mandalorian and making me watch that first episode on the way to work. But then after that, I got up at 5 a.m. and I would watch it before he got out of bed. So is that morning wood?
No, it's not. It's morning lightsaber.
Oh, there we go. Kyber crystal.
Right. So I think it's...
Well played.
Yeah. It's wonderful having family here when we're talking about this.
Yeah, that's me, the daughter.
We're going to need to retcon. You're going to need to retcon this. Erased.
Wait, we were talking about lightsabers?
Yep.
Just don't ever re-listen to this.
This happens often.
It does.
She's so used to
Yep.
this.
And I don't think it's any secret that I am all in, totally extended to the full length of my lightsaber. My lightsaber could not get bigger.
Wow.
Are lightsabers like golf clubs? Different sizes?
Yeah.
Are we talking like a Darth Maul type lightsaber here?
I don't
How
want
the
to.
hell does that work?
I'll go. No, I won't explain.
I don't
The
want
image that just popped into my head is not good.
I don't want to brag about how long my lightsaber is because that seems like I'm overcompensating. Then let's just say that my
fine.
lightsaber is
This is
Fully
too much into the
operational.
fully
details.
optional.
Too much into the details of the size of the lightsaber. Let's just move on to why.
You want to move on to why my lightsaber is?
This is the segment where we start going into how Baby Yoda was created.
Right.
It all started with a lightsaber.
I've always wondered.
Now we know. So we should moving past the lightsaber length. Let's go on to what your favorite episode is. There are 8 episodes, and one of the things I appreciate about the Mandalorian, one of the many things I appreciate about the Mandalorian is each of the episodes' titles were concise and clear. It wasn't a chapter-long title. So the 8 episodes were The Mandalorian, The Child, The Sin, Sanctuary, The Gunslinger, The Prisoner, The Reckoning, and The Redemption. And I'm going to go first. My favorite episode is The Redemption, the last episode, for a couple reasons. First, Sandy went into our routine of watching The Mandalorian. She'd get up, I'd get up, we'd watch it, we'd talk about it. It was awesome. The last episode of The Mandalorian came out during Christmas break. Our daughter, Rebecca, our firstborn.
And the
You almost said your
middleborn?
favorite, wasn't it?
No!
Republicans.
She was here with our granddaughter. We shared, we're going to get up Friday morning and watch this. And Beck's like, well, can I get up and watch it with you? I'm like, yeah, of course. So 5 o'clock rolls around. We all come down to the living room, start queuing up The Mandalorian on the big screen, getting ready. Me, Sandy, and Becca watching it. And then our granddaughter woke up and comes toddling down. So we had myself, my wife, my daughter, and my granddaughter all watching The Mandalorian. So that gets me in the feels. So that has to be, for that reason, has to be my favorite. On top of that, at the beginning, we were talking, it was kind of like a mini podcast. We were talking about what we liked about it, what's going on with it. I can't wait to this. And I said that what I appreciated about The Mandalorian is we hadn't seen a single Wookiee. There wasn't a single Jedi. They'd gone completely into new content, which is so refreshing that we're getting this finally. The old school stuff has been swept away. We're now going into new, wonderful content. And then I said, and this is before it started, I said, I wouldn't mind seeing the Darksaber because that does have Mandalorian content, and that would be awesome. Then we watched the episode, and at the beginning of the episode, it's got the funniest 5 minutes of Star Wars ever with the 2 speeder bike pilots beating the crap out of the child, and then the commentary, the epic not being able to hit water if they fell out of a boat shooting. That was funny. It serves you right. I told you when the speeder bike pilot got bit, that was just hilarious. But at the end, when Moff Gideon crashes and he cuts open the TIE fighter with the Darksaber, I lost my mind. I literally screamed in arms over my head.
We're pointing at him. You called it.
So it kind of validated my Star Wars cred, if you will. So I was very happy.
Well, just the way they did it too, because it seemed like they were done. The episode was done, and then it happened.
Right, because
and
I
it
even
was
said that. Oh, we made it through the entire Mandalorian without any of that, and then you get the cutscene with the crash and the Darksaber coming on. I'm like, yeah!
So it was almost like they were personally messing with Jeff. So I have to appreciate that.
It was pretty cool. So, Lee, why don't you?
You want me to go?
Yeah, isn't this where
feel
we
privileged.
the dumbass?
Because you were saying that your least favorite was the one that I enjoyed the
right,
most.
and
So
that was the thing.
I felt offended.
Sorry. I also did say that
Sorry.
all of the episodes could be my favorite, but out of all of my favorites, that's my least favorite.
Yep.
So
Yeah. So my favorite, I enjoyed Sanctuary. I thought it was super character driven, and it was like, he you could tell that at that Mando, this guy who's a hard ass, he's seen some stuff, and he's been on some crazy things and probably done some things that, he's a bounty hunter, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
it is what it is, right? And he finds that place. They go to that place. They're on the run,
Yeah.
and it was the classic story of the town has these enemies, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to teach you how to fight. Like, we can't fight for you, but we're going to teach you how to fight for yourselves, right?" Which is just the classic storyline. But anyway, what I liked the most about it was that you could tell that he wanted that life, like he wanted to stay there, and he didn't want to keep running, but he knew that
he didn't have a choice,
right? And so he kept going, and it was kind of that honor thing, like
this is the way,
right? And,
yeah.
And that's and when he left, and I was just like, no, why did he leave?
Right. And it is cool also that it was kind of a callback because when Lucas created Star Wars, he fashioned it after the Seven Samurai and the Magnificent Seven, and even in Clone Wars, Filoni did we're going to teach the weak village.
I can't remember what planet it. I don't remember what it was,
but it seems like that all ties in, and that's part of the Star Wars history and creation. So that's again totally awesome episode. You can't argue it's not a.
And he takes his helmet off in that episode. We'll get to that later.
He does.
Hey, but even the Mandalorian has kind of there's a Japanese movie where this ninja is protecting that child in the
Yep.
I can't remember the name of it right now,
Yep.
but I remember showing it to you too.
Yep.
That episode has my favorite scene in it. And my favorite scene, not to mention, take the child completely out of favorite scenes, is the red eyes in the forest.
Ooh, when the
ultimately,
ATST?
when that happened, I got chills.
Yeah.
Just because
that was
that
cool.
spoke to, like what they were really up against.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. You were talking. You go next.
My favorite one was Chapter 3, The Sin.
The Sin. I just love the name of that one.
Well, of course you do.
Okay.
But, but what I liked about it is because it was the turning point for him. And as far as character-driven plots are concerned, I think it was the most relevant and important episode that showed this is me before, and this is what made me change what was important to me.
Yep.
I'm now dedicated to this child, and how did that happen? It explains it all in the Sin, right?
Yep.
He had up to the point he was honor driven. He was going to turn in his puck. He was going to get his money. He was, make his armor, whatever. That's what was driving him. And then he had that moment where he's like, "This isn't me."
He's like, "I'm a dad now."
I know.
He sticks to that though, right?
Yeah.
Like, he sticks to his honor, and that's their code, right?
Yeah.
Right.
This is the way.
Because at first I thought to myself, why the hell would he do that?
Yeah.
Right? Like he's a bounty hunter. He belongs to
Right.
a guild. Like you don't ask questions, right?
Right.
But then-
Exactly. But so he follows through, and the rest of us, the silent observer, the audience, is going, "What the?" And then
She almost swore.
And then he turns around.
I bring it out in
and
people.
he makes it right, which is
was
why I'm still watching this show.
Well, it's the Luke Skywalker had the same kind of moment. The being confronted by Vader in Empire Strikes Back. He's out on the ledge, and that was the Mandalorian's "I'll never join you" moment.
Right.
No. Yeah.
To me, they reflect honestly like Mandalorians, Mandalore culture. It reflects Jedi, right? I mean, it's like they're driven by a code, and
right.
they stick to that.
Right.
Which is funny because in Mandalorian history, the Jedi and the Mandalorians fought like crazy.
Right.
So,
right.
Well, they have their own codes.
right.
They don't have to be,
Okay.
conveniently the same.
Right.
And that was my favorite line from it. Was from your episode, I think. Was where isn't it? Where he says they're asking about, "Oh, you're from Mandalore or whatever," and they're like, Mandalorian isn't a race.
Yeah.
It's a code. It's a
Cara Dune
culture.
says
It's
it.
a code.
It's my religion.
It's a religion. Right?
Yeah.
That's episode 2.
Was it 2? Why did I think that was the last one?
I don't know, but it's when he's when they're going to get his ship back from the Jawas. They're like, put down your weapons.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm a Mandalorian. It's part of my religion. So yeah.
Oh, but that quote's from Cara Dune, so it had to have been.
Oh, okay.
After they
Yeah.
And let's be honest here too. If the Mandalorian had a daycare, it would not go well. So let's think about this here.
Hey, that's interesting.
Let's really think about it. So he gives his child or Baby Yoda in this sense away to random strangers he's met in 10 minutes into the episode.
His license would be revoked.
Yeah,
right.
Sure. People are trying to kill his kid, but the Mandalorian daycare does come back with a 100% guarantee that he will get the child back. So it's okay. In the end, you'll get your kid back. Don't worry.
His ship's full of loaded weapons. Like he's just like the complete opposite of what you want from a daycare. I love it.
Let's get your kid in line, daycare.
Right.
All right, Travis. Mr. Mandalorian Daycare, what's your favorite episode?
The more that we've kind of talked, episode 1 and 8, I think, like you said, are amazing. But the more that I've kind of sat here and thought about it, I really enjoyed the Prisoner episode. Yeah. And they had Bill Burr within it.
I love Bill Burr.
Which is awesome. But the reason why I really liked it was because we see the Mandalorian get his butt kicked a lot through all of the episodes that we've seen. And in that episode especially, he can kind of hold his own.
Yeah.
So he goes against these, 3 or 4 different styles of fighters or people, or whatever you want to say, and he holds his own, and eventually, he outsmarts them in the end. So I really,
I like how they left that off too, because at some point in season 2, season 3, whatever, we're going to see those characters again.
Oh yeah,
and I am looking forward to that because that's going to be awesome.
Right.
Also, I liked Bill Burr's character because there's a Jar Jar line, and
I like it.
I actually wrote it down. It's what do you look like underneath that helmet? You still don't look so good under that helmet, do you? So the what are you, a Gungan under there? I thought that was hilarious, even though it's a Jar Jar reference.
It's a Gungan reference.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that's true. It's Gungan, so it's not as bad. And the
Very racist against Gungans.
maybe. Then there's also the Imperial shooting incident where he's getting introduced to Mayfield, and he's an ex-Imperial sharpshooter. Well, that doesn't mean much. Hey, I wasn't a stormtrooper. That was hilarious to me. Max, you're the last one.
They're all really good, but I think I'm gonna have to pick the first one. And the reason why I picked the first one is because I was already down with Star Wars with some of the movies, episode 1, 2, and 3 especially.
Sure.
But I think the Rogue movie kind of brought me back a little bit.
Yep, Rogue One.
For the same reason, because it's not Luke, it's not, like you said earlier, we needed to move on from those characters.
Yeah.
I think that's what they should have done in the first place is connected, have that little connection at the end of the movie. That would have been, that was what made that movie great too, but... I don't know. So it was like a new character. It's not Boba Fett, but it's kind of like Boba Fett looking guy. And then when you finally would see that final shot with just the little green hand.
Yeah.
That's
freak out like, oh!
Because I didn't even have to see his face. I didn't need to see the face. To me, that was enough to be like, okay, you know what? I'm hooked.
Yeah, cool.
That's why I picked the first one.
All right. They're all good. They're all good episodes. So next, let's just go around quickly. We'll go left to right this time. All right. Cool. Favorite character, Travis.
Ooh.
Favorite character.
Is it Krill? Is that how you say it?
Quill?
Quill. Excuse me. Quill.
Yeah. The Ugnaught, played by
Nick
Nolte. Yeah.
Yep. No, I like Quill. And the problem is I didn't realize until the last episode when, spoiler alert, we think he's dead. I'm going to say he is. You never know. Unless you see somebody buried in the ground nowadays,
Well, they
you
did
never
bury
know.
him.
But, as soon as he was dead in the last episode, I was like, oh, man, I love that guy. And I was like, oh, dang it, I should have appreciated him through the other episodes. So he's going to be my favorite.
And before we go any further, should we qualify this? Isn't the child going to be everybody's favorite?
No.
Okay,
No,
good.
No.
All right,
definitely
fine.
not.
Sorry for the qualification. No qualification needed.
I mean,
So-
it wasn't. So
Okay, yeah, obviously. Never mind. Okay. Max, who's your favorite?
Shoot. I was gonna say the Mandalorian, but it's definitely not him. I agree with Travis too. I think the Quill was definitely
Quill, really?
I think my favorite. Until he showed up, I was like, okay, I like this guy.
Yeah.
And then I saw that guy. I was like, all right, it's
Okay.
perfect. This is again a new character, totally different.
Yep.
Looking and it sounds different. I mean, everything was like so. I don't know. Even a mature character in a way, like very smart, whatever. Is like, I was like, okay, definitely what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
So,
Sandy.
I like him.
So I'm going to say the child. But only because this whole season wouldn't exist without the child. So now I feel like, he just called me out. But
I uncalled you out, though.
yeah, I just think the child makes it. The puppeteering on the child is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
they
good.
did such a good job. There was so much room for error.
Oh, yeah.
They did it wonderfully. And the characters that are I like them all. But if I had to choose one, it would have to be the child.
That's what I asked, yeah.
One of the
Your
top
favorite, the
5
child.
moments in the series
Well,
is
yeah.
when he saves him from the whatever that giant beast is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And
yeah,
then he
yeah.
just like passes out.
The Mudhorn, yeah.
The child doesn't speak, right?
Right.
The child has to act in a way that the
He coos.
Mandalorian has to act without any facial
Right.
expression,
Yeah.
which is really, really hard. So he coos. You kind of know when he's joking, whatever. It's just amazing the way the puppeteering happens to make you feel what the child is feeling.
Yep.
It's just
Yeah.
incredible.
Lee.
I love his appetite too. Every time they go to a shot of him, he's like half
And-
deep in a frog. And
Right.
you're
Yeah.
like, yes.
And he gets called out on it in the sanctuary where he's eating it halfway, and the kids are all like, "Ew!" And he spits it out.
Right.
Okay.
Not only that, but he looks great for like, how old is he? 80 years old? Whatever.
Yeah, 50. Yeah,
Hey,
he's 50.
jeez.
Yeah.
If I wish I don't think I'm going to look that good when I'm that age, but I think the only thing me and him are going to have in common is,
You eat frogs?
I don't know, maybe just the green poopy diaper. But other than that,
I think so, yeah.
Lee, who's your favorite?
I like the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But part of it is because of that too. Like
Yeah.
the guy has to emote and convince you without his face.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, and that to me, that's acting at another level.
Agreed.
right?
totally.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I just liked it.
Yeah, Jess.
Yeah. Cara Dune for me. I feel like if you know me, that's really obvious.
Yeah, there was I knew this is where you were going to go.
Yes. I feel really lucky to be living in a time where women can be strong and a fighter, like a hand-to-hand combat fighter, and like more beefy than her male counterparts in movies.
You want some soup?
No, I'll take some bread. But I also really appreciate that she's not like cooing over the baby or
No, she actually
like,
is opposite of that. She was like,
exactly.
Kicks Mando's ass.
Yeah, she does.
It's so
Yeah.
important for that to be
Yeah.
represented.
one of the little details I like about her character is the rebel symbol tattoo,
Yeah.
like the teardrop. I love that.
I like that too. I like the fact that, like you say, she's not like crazy about the baby or him, because in most,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's we've seen that so many times. Oh yeah, they're both gonna, they're both
Yep.
gonna fall in love or whatever.
Right.
And it's
No,
like,
yeah,
No.
no, they're just buddies.
yeah,
And I that's
Yeah.
how refreshing.
Yes.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
She can actually fight in real life too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she's MMA. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
She was definitely one of the best.
I actually want her and Bill Burr's character to just go at it. And
Oh, that would be
beat each
awesome,
other
wouldn't it?
up. Just
I
bloody mess.
that'd make me happy. really happy.
Okay. I have to agree. As it's my turn, I have to agree with Lee. It's The Mandalorian. The series is called The Mandalorian. Everything's based on The Mandalorian, and he's got that old Western gunslinger swag. There's no question. He just has got.
He's
He's
got
got
those odds, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 He shoots first. He shoots often, and he shoots accurately. The disruptor rifle is awesome, and it also throws back to the why Vader told Boba Fett, "I want him alive, no disintegrations."
yeah.
Now we know why. So it's just everything that revolves around the Mandalorian is awesome. His call to honor speaks to me. So yeah, for me it's the Mandalorian. So yeah.
Yeah.
Next is here's the controversy: helmet on or helmet off. And this is not a sick callback to the first lightsaber part.
I was going to say, we're
good.
going down the lightsaber path. Is that like lights on or lights off?
No. Do you prefer having not seen the Mandalorian's face, or do you want to see the Mandalorian's face? I think they handled it all right. I would have been okay not seeing his face the entire season.
You do see his face.
Well, you do
Yeah.
in the end episode.
When he's a kid.
Oh, that's true. But he wasn't the Mandalorian then. He was just
Right,
a
yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
Semantics.
He hadn't
Did his
taken the
face
oath.
not become his face?
Right. Okay, you're right. It's semantics. But, let's go the other way. Jess, helmet on or helmet off?
Helmet on. I don't need another man face in my life. Just kidding. No, I do want his helmet to say but that's because I think it's true to his character.
Lee, helmet on or off?
Helmet on.
Okay, Sandy.
I will say that originally I was really pissed off that he wasn't taking his helmet off because I knew what was under the helmet.
She likes Pedro Pascal.
Right. So I was like, no, I really want to see his face. So I found myself looking for any type of flesh. Like, could I see?
Whoa!
No, don't go there. Just like a wrist, like like a little finger. Like
Is he human?
I started to doubt that.
He's a
maybe,
Gungan, remember?
and so I started to really focus on that. And then while I was focusing on that, somehow I got caught up in the story and the honor of the helmet, and I realized that I didn't want him to take his helmet off, and I didn't want people to look in the window when he had it off and he was looking at the kids, and I was like, don't look, he would lose honor. So yes, helmet on. In fact, to the point where I didn't even want to see that episode where he took his helmet off and got healed, because it lost something at that point for me. Like, maybe I shouldn't have been watching, like, out of reverence. I should have lowered my eyes. Because I'm living,
Max, helmet on or off?
Helmet on. Definitely. I think it's... I don't even want to see it. Like, I hope they don't reveal his face until the very, very last episode of the entire show. Because I agree with you. Like, the acting was... I didn't even know who was playing. I didn't when I first started watching. I was like, I don't want to know who it is. And then it wasn't until like the third episode I was like, okay, now I need to know who this is. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh wow, I was very impressed. I didn't think that was the actor.
Yep.
But yeah.
And it
definitely
might not have been, actually.
Right.
Yeah, you never know.
Travis. Helmet on.
Helmet on for sure. And the thing is towards the end of it, I was getting a little eager with him not having his helmet off, so I Googled who was playing him and saw his face, and I was like, I shouldn't have did that. So, for sure, helmet on. It's just fun.
I
it's
agree.
Mysterious.
Right. It adds to his mystique. It's part of that lone gunman. Keep your helmet on, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, that's right. Get off my lawn.
That being said, I do think he is a good actor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he has a good face for acting, and I want him to be able to have that recognition. That's important.
Sure.
So I'd be okay with it off too.
And again, we went around the table.
Though.
Like, what?
He'd be vulnerable though.
Yeah.
That
Oh yeah. But
both to blasters and love.
Fantastic.
There we go.
He almost found love though.
yeah,
Kinda.
almost.
He's going to go back.
I wanted him to die. I wanted that whole town to die.
Wow.
I really did. Like the second he leaves, he comes back and is just gone.
That's a segue, Jeff.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So let's go to speculation on season 2.
Well played. Very well played.
Got
Love
that.
of his life, dead.
Dead.
Town
Dead.
There you
All
go.
those little kids,
Dead.
You got the name for that episode already. Destruction. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh yes.
Chip off the old block right there.
Big boss from Dick Tracy. I'm dead. I want his family dead.
Dead.
Yeah.
Okay. Speculation. Let's just fire away. I think we're gonna get some more in-depth information about the Night of a Thousand Tears. Hopefully, the next season of Clone Wars season 7, is going to give us the Siege of Mandalore content. Next episode, if you want to listen. I think he leaves it. We should take bets. Does he leave his helmet on? Do we get to see his face at all in season 2?
No.
Unless it's the last season of the show, which none of us know that right now.
Right.
It's not going to be
I
the
doubt
last
it.
season of the show. No
There's
way.
no way.
Okay. Any other speculation?
The only thing I kind of want for season 2 is just them to change up the storyline. So, with the whole Baby Yoda, he's going to get captured, let's rescue him type deal. I
Sure.
don't know. They can incorporate Baby Yoda in some facet that, I don't know, it's just a little different. I'll be really happy with that.
I mean, if it's just like Baby Yoda and Mando hanging out in the cockpit, listening to Toto and some other sweet bands from that era, and just
for a whole
I'd watch that. I would watch that. Stream that. They could stream that.
Oh, yeah.
There you go, right.
Yep. Cool. Okay. Well, I think this concludes the Mandalorian part of this podcast, and it was fun. I loved this. But we do have sponsors again this season. So, not to delay any longer, we're going to go into our first commercial spot of Book 2. See how it goes. Ready? Here we go. Yeah.
Lights off.
Yeah. Wow. This is a professional podcast, obviously. In a world where streaming networks are a dime a dozen, there is one network that you won't want to be without. The WTF FTW network, available to you on Valentine's Day because no one loves you like WTF. On February 14th, WTF releases its prime showcase streaming content, Highlander All Day, Every Day, featuring the following sagas. Highlander, The Quick Inning, a story about a baseball player who becomes an immortal just in time for the 9th inning of the World Series. Highlander Portal, a story of an immortal Englishwoman who somehow finds herself at the center of historical events throughout time. Or this excerpt from Highlander Galactic Empire.
Like all energy cannons in the singular escape pod. Number 2, that has to be him. I sense a disturbance in the space-time continuum.
Captain McLeod, can you call me Susan? I don't really want to be called number 2.
That's fine. Yes. Sweet, glorified, what a rush.
Captain, the enormous electrical surge has fried all our circuits, and we're dead in space.
It's fine. I'm immortal. They will find me eventually. The rest of you, well, there can only be one.
Last line.
Yeah, you can just do the last line. Yeah.
Balls.
Everyone was just like,
I did it wrong.
Oh.
Okay, I'm just going to do that part.
Go.
Yeah, that's right.
There can be only one.
Remember to sign up for the WTF FTW now. There can only be one more. Well done, everyone. Okay.
It's like you did it to you.
Now we're going to go into one of our personal segments. One of my favorite people gets to do one of her favorite segments. We're going to do Sandy Explains. Sitting at the table is someone who has been and will continue to be ahead of her time. She's loved sci-fi movies and nerdy board games longer than she or I am willing to admit. She's played D&D before it was cool for any gender. She has more insight to the evolution of the female gamer's perspective than anyone I know of. I'm lucky enough to be married to her, and we're lucky enough to hear from Sandy as she goes into Sandy Explains. Take it away, Sandy.
Thank you, Jeff.
Sure.
What I'd like to talk about today has to do with The Mandalorian in some way, but it has to do with CGI. The technology of CGI is something that has improved over the course of many, many years, and we've all experienced that because we can go back to what used to be great sci-fi special effects and groan and hiss because it's horrible. And we've come really a long ways. So that being said, there's still CGI that doesn't really express what we hope it would be. And one of the things that we really like about Mandalorian is that the puppetry is still there. And we can say that CGI is awesome because of Industrial Light and Magic and the fact that there are experts in the field that will make special effects really great. But in some ways, we expect more from characters that have expressions on their faces, and we think that maybe CGI isn't where that belongs. So you have to kind of blend CGI, and you have to blend that with really good puppetry to make something that's not perfect, because it seems like our human eye detects that there's something a little off when something is too perfect or something doesn't look quite polished or what we expect it to be. So it could be that we believe in explosion, that CGI, because it's something that we can't detect those little imperfections from, and it actually makes it more grandiose than maybe something that they can recreate with physical means. We believe that the Star Destroyer flying through space, like maybe right out of the screen of a 3D movie at us in the theater, is awesome because it's something that we don't expect and it's something that's new, innovative technology. But when it comes to human beings or creatures with facial expressions, we're looking for some of that detail without it being so, I don't know, developed in a way that's we just want more sympathy to that character. So I want to sing a little praise to the unsung heroes of The Mandalorian, i.e. the 2 puppeteers that reportedly run the child, that they've brought him to life to the point that we have people that have kind of an affection. It may have run a profiteering machine, and now people are buying a lot of product, but
Or not.
or not, or not. But the whole idea is that child that's kind of developed into potentially what's going to drive the next season of Mandalorian is actually going to put these puppeteers to work. And it's going to actually give them maybe a line of work that Frank Oz started long, long ago.
Oh, Yoda.
And it will continue to drive that industry so that you still have those types of artistic talents. So
Cool.
that's it.
All right.
I have spoken.
Aww. So, side note, I think Frank Oz prefers Muppet-teering Muppets because he's the maker of Muppet.
Yeah, the Muppets.
And, like,
yep.
he was very, like, particular on the, like, difference between puppets and Muppets, which I don't know what that is. They are the same in my mind.
Yeah, I don't know
But
either.
in his mind, it was something very different. I don't even know if Muppeteering is a thing.
Well, I think Muppets are like...
Kermit.
Muppets are... Well, no, I know. I know what the hell the Muppets are.
The other green thing.
No, but I mean, like, that's with, like, wires, right? Like, they're
Puppets
like
are
pole
From
wires. Is that
below.
puppets or Muppets?
Right.
Puppets, I always feel like, are ones that you...
Go inside.
that was the terminology, but I didn't know how to say it without. I like that. Yes, that's what I thought puppets were versus
Yeah.
Muppets that use like
Okay.
Strings or
like,
Oh,
like
okay.
a marionette.
yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know if that's true or not.
That makes sense.
That makes
in
sense,
my
though.
mind.
Well, and that's fine, but we've progressed to the point where there's a lot of animatronics that
Yeah.
they're dealing with
Right.
with
Yeah.
puppets now. So you know, gone are the little strings
Yeah.
and the little,
Right.
you know.
yeah.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Sorry. Another one that like this reminded me of was not Labyrinth, Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Netflix series because they did a really good combination of puppetry,
and CGI.
Muppetry,
Okay.
Yeah.
and CGI.
Right.
Cool. All right.
I just wanted to talk about that. That doesn't have
Okay.
to be in this.
Okay. Good. We'll see. So
Editor
No,
in
look
chief
it up.
over there.
Yeah.
See if you made the cut. See if you made it.
She has spoken.
she has spoken. So now that we've had a little time past the commercial and Sandy explains, we've had that deep breath.
And
Never
cookies.
making it to podcast
Yes.
one.
I'm gonna have to kill you.
In all fairness to her, who brought those?
I did.
Well,
No.
you
Okay.
might want to throw yourself out the window.
There's a
with her.
story behind that too. Damn it.
I was kind of hoping for a softer cookie, personally, but Oreos will work.
You should have
Anyway.
taken requests.
We've had time to reflect. Now that we've had time to reflect, has anybody's opinions? Would you stop it?
Sorry, I'm not.
I know you're not. Has anybody's opinions changed on any of the content about The Mandalorian?
I found myself agreeing with every episode. Like,
Yeah.
if somebody would say, episode 2 is my favorite, I'd be like, oh, yeah, me
is.
too now.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I really like that part. I find that
Yeah.
I had good things to say about every one. I just had to pick one.
Right. Well, last thing I want to
Right.
add to it is almost every episode had something to quote, and we've done it throughout the podcast. Episode 1, we had "I can take you in warm, or I can take you in cold." Episode 2 had "I have spoken." Episode 3 had "This is the way." Episode 4 I thought was funny was "You want some soup?" Episode 5 had a couple. I wasn't a stormtrooper. I thought this is funny, and it's kind of appropriate for how our podcast has gone today, is when Grieve Karga was clawed and the baby was coming over to heal him. And he's like, oh no, he's coming over to eat me.
Yeah.
And Grief Karga got what I thought was the best line in episode 8, where they're just about to die. Moff Gideon is coming down in his cool TIE fighter, and he does, baby, do your hand thing. Do that hand thing.
Oh, yeah.
So every episode had a quotable line that's like, yeah, that's awesome. So another reason why I think The Mandalorian is pure great. So
I do think, just as a side note, I want to see an episode with just those 2 stormtroopers.
yes,
Yeah.
I would watch
Go
it.
home
I would,
to their families.
yes,
and talk
I would
about
watch a
it.
comedy
series
routine,
like that.
Yeah.
They have a comic book that's very much like that.
I've read that. That
Yeah.
was a lot of fun.
Yep.
It's actually 2 stormtroopers kind of in the background of all the scenes of Star Wars and how they integrate themselves into the bad things that happen behind the scenes that will kind of drive that story unbeknownst to them. So.
Okay, we're almost done. Last fun segment, and this is my favorite, other than all of the Mandalorian content. We're going to go into game time. And today we're going to do Duel of the Dorks. And the way the Duel of the Dorks is, I'm going to put together a phrase, and you have to tell me how that phrase works. So, for instance, I'll give you this clue. The clue would be, Steve Rogers goes to band camp. The answer would be Captain American Pie.
Nice.
Nice.
I'll give you another example.
God, I'm going to fail at this game.
If DC's version of the Avengers wasn't allowed to cry during baseball, Justice League of their own. So, the way you work this is, I'll read the clue. You'll ring in with your name. Just say whatever your
Sandy.
name. Sandy. And then put it together. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Otherwise, this gets to be really boring radio. We'll move it along. But the preface to this one is they all have some connection to Star Wars. At some point, somewhere, there's Star Wars tied into this. All right. Okay. Sandy's clue to this is the way to win at this is write down what I.
What? Don't give away my strategy.
These are my friends. I'm trying to help them. Also, you have freaking Jar Jar Binks on your mic stand, so too bad.
Be.
All hail
Wow.
the Sith
There's
Lord.
probably some sect, like some small sect of Gungan somewhere that
Yeah.
worship Jar Jar Binks. Like
Okay, quick. Let's start this before it gets worse.
Jeff's personal hell.
Yeah, it is. So, and some of them are going to be a little obscure, so you might not get them. If you do get them, you're going to have my true adoration. Okay? So the first one. The heart and soul of R2-D2 if he was 13. The heart and soul of R2-D2 if he was 13. And I'm going to, as you guys are thinking, I'm going to say, if you guys don't get that, I'm going to count that as a point for me. That way I can win. You guys just let me know when you give up.
I give up.
No clue.
I give up.
Sandy's still thinking she's...
No, I have nothing.
Yeah. Okay. The answer is Jeff wins. And it's Kenny Baker's dozen. Kenny Baker was the midget
Oh my goodness.
they had inside of R2-D2. Nobody knew that?
Okay, midget is offensive,
Oh, man. Small person, I'm sorry.
but it is. So,
Kenny Baker's dozen. Okay.
Kenny Baker.
Jeff won. Everybody else 0.
Yes.
Okay.
Is he still alive?
No, he died a couple years ago.
Yeah, he did.
I remembered it. It was sad.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. Number 2. Mall cop in a breath mask.
Repeat.
Okay. Mall cop and a breath mask. And it doesn't have to be the Star Wars character. It can be their actual who they are.
Jar Jar? That's my name, so I'm going to chime in on this.
Okay, Jar Jar, go.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't even know if this is right, so I probably sound foolish. Paul Blart Vader?
No, that's incorrect. But if you flip that, you would have been right. He's got the characters correct.
Wrong order. Okay.
No, not wrong order.
Darth Maul.
No.
Darth Paul Blart?
No.
This
All
game
right.
is silly.
Tell me when you give up. I'm going to be too... Maybe I made these too hard. I'm sorry.
I only know the Paul Blart part.
Yeah. And
So
the Darth Vader part.
actor that played Darth Vader, and then the name of the character from Mall Cop?
Yeah, who's the character from...
Kevin James.
Yeah. Who was Darth Vader?
James
Earl Jones.
Put them together.
Kevin James Earl Jones.
There you go.
That's just a bunch of first names.
Don't abuse their parents for giving them those names. That's not fair.
I think I like my answer. I was going to change it to Paul Blarth Vader.
Paul Darth Vader.
See, that's what
That's creative.
I'd like to do a vote. I think Travis gets a point.
Oh, I'll give him a half a point.
0.75, please.
0.75. Fine. 0.75 to Travis. Jeff won, and 1.25, and Travis has got 0.75.
Wait, you got a 0.25 for that?
No, I got the first one.
So you got a negative for that one?
No. Nice try.
Yeah.
You're the scribe.
Yeah.
Technically, can't you do whatever you want?
Yeah.
Not in this game.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Saruman with bionics.
I want to watch that. I wanna see that. I'm too distracted by how cool that is.
Okay, well, Saruman with bionics.
I don't even know the actor who plays Saruman.
Lee something Lee.
Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee.
Yeah, that's right.
Sandy.
Sandy.
Christopher Lee Major.
Yay! We got it one.
Nice.
Sandy's got one.
I don't get it.
$1 million
Christopher
man.
Lee is the person
Yes.
who played. Lee Majors played the Bionic Man.
Oh, well, that's why I
That
didn't
was
get
a
it.
long time ago.
Sorry. Okay. Number 4. This one is for you, Lee.
Great. Because I've been real good on the last one.
Bridge over the Kwai Star in a famous logger. Bridge over the River Kwai Star in a famous logger.
It's like a strange brew thing. I don't know.
Sandy's
Getting
thinking.
my movies confused.
Lager. A famous lager? Like
Like
lager?
No, lager, like a drink.
Lager as in beer. But
Yes.
I don't know what. I don't know the movie.
Bridge over the
I've seen the
River
movie, but I don't
Kwai?
know the people in it.
Who is the star?
I know who the star is, but what's the lager? Lager.
Once I know who the star is, I'll
Logger.
Star,
Laugger.
I know. It's
I'm cheating, by the way.
He's cheating.
Yeah, he is cheating.
I need to know.
That's 0.25.
okay. Sandy.
Go.
Sir Alec Guinness.
0.25 for Sandy.
I'll give it to Sandy because it's,
Draft. Guinness
yeah.
draft.
Sir Alex, it's Guinness Draft.
I just thought it was
I want
called
0.5
Guinness.
for that.
Fine, you guys split it. So, the
letting
score
Jeff
is Jeff's at 1.25, Sandy's at 1.5, Travis is at 0.75, and Lee's at 0.5.
This scoring system is awesome.
I know, it's great.
I was like, wait, the splitting points.
You better write it down because he's not going to remember that.
I got it.
I think these are biased points here.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Come on, Max, you're
Middle
falling behind. Let's
children
go.
and stuff.
next question. If Ben Solo was a Chihuahua and had a cat sidekick.
If Ben Solo... What?
If Ben Solo was a Chihuahua. Sandy.
Kylo Ren and Stimpy.
Yes!
Nice.
You get an extra point for that.
No, she doesn't!
Idiot!
You idiot! Broad attack of protoplasm.
Log rolls downstairs.
It's log. It's log. It's big. It's heavy. It's wood. It's log. It's log.
It's better than bad. It's good.
Everyone loves the log.
It's almost as good as don't pee on the electric fence. Squirrel! Okay. This one's... I don't think anybody's going to get this one.
You can piddle in the air. You can piddle in the toilet. That's
Okay.
why it is there.
Ready? Here we go. Goldenrod if he was made out of chocolate. Nobody's going to get this one.
Goldenrod.
Goldenrod.
Who's Goldenrod? Come on, Goldenrod, you'll be a permanent resident.
I know who GoldenEye is.
Nope, Sandy's the only one who's got a clue, and she's struggling.
I'm not even writing that one.
There's a chocolate bar that starts with O.
Uh-huh.
O. Henry.
Yeah.
Sandy.
Go.
C3PO Henry.
Well, she's
C3PO
technically-
Henry.
There you go.
Jeez, I'm like, I can see the wrapper. I have no idea. I hate that candy bar.
So Sandy's pulled way ahead. You guys are going to have to pick up your games. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 questions left. Our favorite Rolly droid, if he was in a 70s sitcom with too many kids.
Sandy.
Go.
BB-8 is enough.
Yeah.
There's a lot of 80s references here. I don't think it's fair for the people under 50.
That's not my fault they're not old. Well, yours. Yeah. Just, okay, fair. Now, here's...
Got it.
This is the tiebreaker if we would have had a tie, which is not going to would ever happen. So Sandy wins. Yay, Sandy.
Hashtag rigged.
I want the tiebreaker. What's the tiebreaker?
Here's the tiebreaker. The collector of fluffy frozen water removal. So I'll break it down for you. Who was the collector?
Yep.
Who played the collector?
Okay.
What's his name?
Benicio del Toro.
Right. And if he was a fluffy frozen water removal system?
God, I'm stupid.
What's frozen? What's fluffy frozen water?
Snow?
Yeah. It was
the
Benicio.
snowblower?
Yeah, it was.
The
Yeah.
Toro snowblower?
Yeah.
Jeff. Okay. This is it.
I think my brain just leaked out.
Right.
What is the next segment? Please tell me I'm going next.
Yes. The next segment is we're at the end of the podcast. It's time for leveling up. The scribe, who is Sandy, is going to rip me a new one.
So everybody gets 500 experience points, except for Jeff,
Of course.
who ends with 1.25 experience points to match how many points he got in this game.
Yes.
Sick burn.
Well, it was a burn. I don't know if it was sick.
Just
So
saying.
everybody gets 500 experience points. Congratulations, everybody, but me.
I was pretty excited that I made it on the board. So
Yeah. Sorry, Max.
It's fine. I was trying to connect Benicio del Toro and Frozen for some reason. And I was
let it go,
like,
man.
this is
Just let it
way
go,
out-
man.
I was like, I know I haven't seen Frozen, but it's way
let
out
it
of my
go.
league.
All right, we've come to the end of this podcast. Thank you, everyone. We do have to take care of a little business. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by anyone involved with the Dragonhead Dialogues are those of that specific individual themselves and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or opinions of any of the sponsors. If there is something offensive, please do not blame our significant others, friends, employers, siblings, Republicans, parents, Democrats, relatives, school systems, or the child, also known as Baby Yoda. If you're struggling to move forward and need someone to blame for something said on this podcast, please blame Moff Gideon. I'm sure he's the root cause of anything and everything offensive because, well, I have spoken. Thank you for listening to the Draghead Dialogues. We appreciate it. Everybody have a good week. Love you, Ezzy.